where as a entrepreneur and as a wellness consultant, I like to call myself, I was saying, a multidisciplinary healing artist. I really love that I can spend time and energy on myself and then bring my best foot forward when I'm working on projects and not come from a depleted state where so grounded. Many people are working. My friends that work as like executive assistants and 100% I would like to say on the corporate teat, their time is not their own,
right,
and their ass is not their own.
No, it's crazy to think about that, because it's like they give you a salary job, but the hour they don't, you work hours past the 40 hours you're paid for, and again, getting back to that more entrepreneurial freestyle is like freelance, not freestyle.
It is freestyle. Freestyle living.
But
that's what I like to call it.
But people that try to balance and say, okay, well, I need to get this grounded job in order to sustain myself and try to do it on the side, you're sometimes not always grounded, right? You're in that state of like, well, I'm burning the candles at both ends, right? So it's to be in that creative state, it's hard to kind of transition, right, between that if you're doing that, and then also, you can't really put all of your effort into it if you're putting a lot of energy into making sure your corporate job or the assistant or whatever you're doing, you're not just phoning that in, and you don't lose that. So it's a balance, but it's also like, hey, you got to do what ultimately, if you do feel that creative vibe and you do want to take that spark, you really have to go into it and give it that time and that investment, like you said. Like,
it's a choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice. It's a conscious choice. It's not just because some people are like, oh, well, you just do your thing and you're here, and in the social media world, oh, you're always on vacation. No, I only post when I'm on vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't show the copious amount of hours.
Right.
The copious amount of hours when I'm doing other things,
Practicing, honing your craft.
I show the interesting things. I don't show the 4 hours that I, set up lighting for my audition, or, had my boring Zoom meetings talking to my agent or whatever the thing is,
Yeah. So you came up, basically, I mean, you've always been a musician, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And acting, you've had that kind of duality.
Yep.
So tell me about that, and like where did you study, and how did you kind of hone your craft that way?
Yeah.
And kind of develop those skills.
Yeah, I did my undergrad at State University of New York at Fredonia, so I was able to, growing up in New York State, I grew up in New York State, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
There's great arts education.
Yeah, there really is.
And just education altogether. So, I mean, even to graduate from high school, I had to have a foreign language. In order to graduate from high school, I had the opportunity, everybody in, I don't know, I think it was like third grade, everybody had to learn how to read a little bit of music and play recorder. And those are, so having this early, and even if I really think about it, even when I was a kid, I started school at 3.5 at a Montessori school. So to me, arts and education have always been one. There's no difference. Like, my creative self was never fractured at an early age. For real.
Yeah.
It's always like,
no, it's important.
I've always been able to think of myself as a creative individual. I didn't have to separate and be like, oh, well, I'm not a singer. I'm not, whatever I was interested in, I was at a young age able to explore. And I have parents that are educators. It wasn't even, that we had a bunch of money. We were a poor ship. It was that the public education provided that for me. So I was able to really explore and be in after school programs. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when I started doing musical theater, in a summer school program, and realizing that I love singing, and then New York State being in swing choirs and different state programs and that kind of stuff.